Question 1. Create storage account, file share, media files, protect via specific key, and protocol access. Read the following guidelines before you begin learning. I have omitted the repetition of same steps applicable on several questions. Same resources are appearing with different names. Read the question carefully and specify the exact names given in the question. For some resources, you would need to add few extra digits in the end of the given names, otherwise Azure won't accept it. Storage accounts, resource groups, file share, blob, etc. are some examples of resources. I don't want to waste your precious time that you spent on learning this guide. Therefore, I didn't repeat the same steps in several questions. Please don't worry about this because this will not affect your understanding of Azure concepts or mislead you in answering lab questions. This action is taken only to avoid hesitation or boring when we learn and also to save our precious time. Let's look at the question now. You plan to store media files in a storage account. The storage account name is given. You need to configure the storage account to store the media files. The solution must ensure that only users who have access keys can download the media files and that the files are accessible only over HTTPS. What should you do from the Azure portal? So let's begin now. Let's go to Azure, login. Go to all services. You can type in the search bar or straight away go to storage accounts. Copy the name of your storage account given in the exam. Click Add. For resource group, if the name is given, you can give that name or create new and add the name given in the question. Or you can specify your desired resource group name on create new. Go to storage accounts name and type the name given in the question or modify the storage account name in the end by adding some digits. Specify the storage account name given in the question by adding some extra digits on the end. Select the location. For this question, you can select desired location. Leave the performance in standard and account kind storage version 2, general purpose version 2. Most commonly, this storage version 2 is used. For replication, select read access geo-redundant storage. Access tier in hot mode. Replication read access geo-redundant storage. Go to next. Select public endpoint all networks and next. Leave it default and go to next. Again, leave it default and go to next. Click review and create. Wait till it's been created. Select create and wait. This might take some time. You need to wait until it's created. Here in the video I have omitted the waiting time for your convenience. Now you can click on go to resource. So you have entered the storage account you have created. In the file share, go to file shares. Select plus file share on top of the file share page. In the name, specify a file share name. The file share name might be given in question sometimes. So if so, you need to specify that name. And then click on create. You can leave the quota blank for now. So it displays successfully created storage file share. You can see that. You can click on it and view your file share. Now go back to your file share and in the left pane you can see shared access signature, which we use to give the HTTPS only login. Scroll down and you can see HTTPS only had been selected. Leave it default and click on generate SAS and connection string. After clicking, scroll down and you can see the connection strings had been generated. Alright, if you have done this lab, then you already learned 90% of the following lab. It's cool. You just want to create a storage account and edit the file share size. That's all. So let's look at the question number 2. Your company plans to host in Azure the source files of several line of business applications. You need to create an Azure file share named Corp Software in the storage account The solution must ensure that the SCOP software file share can store only up to 250 gigabytes of data. What should you do from Azure portal? From the previous question, you have learned how to create a storage account. So I don't want to repeat the same procedures in this question again. You have to create or deploy a storage account as mentioned earlier. Remember to use the names for storage account and file share as specified in specific questions. Here I will show you what to do after the storage account deployment. So the steps of this lab answer is creating a storage account, then create a file share, then specify 250 gigabytes in the quota label. Let's take a look at that now. Go to the resource, which means the storage account you can enter. Again go to file share. Again click add file share. Specify the file share name given. And in the quota specify 250 and then click create. Wait till it's been created. So what next? You have answered the next question as well. 6. Create storage account with file share size 250 gigabytes. Question number 2. Migrating data to Azure Storage. Create storage account capable of storing virtual disk files in low access cost and low replication cost. Let's look at the question now. You plan to migrate a large amount of corporate data to Azure Storage and to backup files stored on old hardware to Azure Storage. You need to create a storage account in the resource group. Remember, the storage account and resource group names are given. The solution must meet the following requirements. The storage account must be able to host the virtual disk files for Azure virtual machines. The cost of accessing the files must be minimized. Replication costs must be minimized. What should you do from the Azure portal? We have already learned about creating storage account and resource group. With previous labs, if needed, you can view it. Same steps here, but remember to name it correctly, and also you would need to add some modifications on certain drop-down menus to fulfill the requirements of the questions. Trust me, these steps are as easy as before. View the next slide to find out where these changes must be made. So, you can view the Create Storage Account page, right? So let me point out which changes you are going to make. For the requirement 1, in the performance bar, you can select Premium. And then for requirement 2, in the account kind, you can select Storage General Purpose version 2, which is most commonly used. And then requirement 3 is Replication. Locally redundant storage, which is LRS, you need to select it for the replication. And remember, it's not RAGRS, which is read access geo-redundant storage. Some DOMs have shown RAGRS, So, but actually in this question, you need to select locally redundant storage. In the next slide, you can practice the question you have learned now. Guess the appropriate models which should be chosen for these specific items. So already we have learned this lab. So here what you are going to do is you are going to follow the same steps until you deploy the storage account and wait till it has been deployed. That's it for this lab, nothing more. So let's look at question 3. Migrating data to Azure storage. Create storage account capable of low access cost and high redundancy. So let's look at this question now. You plan to move backup files and documents from an on-premises Windows file server to Azure storage. The backup files will be stored as blobs. You need to create a storage account named corp data. The solution must meet the following requirements. Ensure that the documents are accessible via drive mappings from Azure virtual machines that run Windows Server 2016. Provide the highest possible redundancy for the documents. Minimize storage access cost. What should you do from the Azure portal? We have already learnt about creating storage account resource group, so you probably have practiced on it. Same steps here, but remember to name it correctly, and also you would need to add some modifications on certain drop-down menus to fulfill the requirements of this question. So let's look at what are the changes you need to make. General purpose version 2 accounts is recommended for most scenarios in accounts kind because it delivers the lowest per gigabyte capacity prices for Azure storage as well as industry competitive transaction prices. For replication, you need to select Read Access Geo-Redundant Storage RAGRS. Read Access Geo-Redundant Storage maximizes availability for your storage account, provides read-only access to the data in the secondary location, in addition to geo-replication across two regions. Remember, the read access geo-redundant storage maximizes availability, which is high availability. So how I remember it is like RA is rocking availability, which means high availability. In order to remember this simply, I use this jargon. So again, it's simply shown in the slide what are the modifications you need to make. In the performance, select standard, and account kind, select storage general purpose version 2, and for replication you need to select RAGRS. Note down it's not LRS, which is locally redundant storage, and access tier you would select hot. You can practice this quiz in order to remember the lab you have done is worth. So here are the guidelines. Follow the same steps until you deploy the storage account and wait till it has been deployed. That's it for this lab. If you wish, you can create a virtual machine based on Windows Server 2016 image. Later on these lessons, you will find out how to create a virtual machine. It's interesting to create virtual machines. You can enjoy it.